In our Animal Wonders episode about reproduction, we learned that animals can reproduce in lots of different ways. And today we're going to look at some interesting reproductive strategies animals use to give their offspring the best start in life. Seahorses are one of my favorite animals, and they do something really special when it comes to giving birth. That's right. It's not the females who get pregnant and have babies, it's the males. See, male seahorses have a pouch on their bellies, and this is where eggs develop into baby seahorses. The female seahorse will lay her eggs into the male's pouch, and then the male fertilizes them with his sperm. Then the male gives birth to the baby seahorses, also called fry. And these little guys are so tiny, about the size of a grain of rice. And because they're so small and still developing, the fry are totally dependent on their dads for the first part of their lives. For the first few days, the male seahorse will just carry around his little babies in his pouch, keeping them safe and sound until they're ready to be out in the open ocean. After a couple weeks, they'll be off on their own, swimming around and looking for food. Now, even though the males are the ones who carry the babies, the females still have to put in some work. Right after the male gives birth, the female seahorse will give birth to more eggs. And she can do this many times over. So a single female seahorse can have lots and lots of offspring in a single breeding season. And the males help take care of those babies too. Seahorses are really unique when it comes to giving birth, but they aren't the only animals whose parents have unique ways of caring for their young. Penguins waddle and slide on their bellies across the ice to attract their penguin soulmate. And once they find their perfect match, they might even dance for them. You see, many penguins do an elaborate courtship ritual before they mate. Sometimes they bow to each other. Sometimes they present each other with a rock or pebble. And sometimes, just sometimes, they do a little dance. Rock and pebble presenting is pretty common among penguins, but dancing definitely isn't. We think that this dancing behavior is only done by certain penguins if they feel like there might be a threat nearby while they're trying to mate. But it's not all that common, and we're still learning why it happens. What we do know is that the male and female penguins will take turns bowing and dancing in front of each other. And even though this might seem kind of silly, it's important for making sure that both penguins are ready to mate. Once they've bowed and danced enough for each other, the male will fertilize the female's egg with his sperm, and then she'll lay her eggs in a nest made of rocks. She'll lay between 1 and 3 eggs, and then she and the male will take turns sitting on the eggs to keep them warm. And yes, penguins do have to keep their eggs warm. Even though they live in super cold environments, the eggs need to be a bit toasty in order to develop properly. Once the eggs hatch, mom and dad penguin will take care of their little chicks, feeding them and protecting them from predators. Now, even though penguins have it pretty easy when it comes to taking care of their young, many other animals don't have the time or energy to spend hours dancing or incubating eggs. And that's why many animals follow the strategy of survival of the fittest. This means that these animals have tons and tons of offspring in order to make sure that some of them survive. You see, when animals have lots of babies, it means that some of them are likely to die before they grow up. Maybe they'll be eaten by a predator, or maybe their habitat will change and they wouldn't be able to find enough food. But if they have tons of babies, then at least some of them will make it. An animal's body can only make so much milk or so much food for its young. So when they have lots of babies at once, each baby gets less food than they would if there were fewer babies. This is why most of these animals don't have much time or energy to spend caring for each individual child. Some examples of animals who have lots of babies at once include turtles, fish, and rabbits. Most turtles will lay around 100 eggs in a clutch, and fish can lay thousands of eggs at a time. Rabbits can have up to 12 babies in a litter. Now, even though these animals don't spend much time taking care of their young, the babies are born with instincts that allow them to find food and stay safe. Baby turtles immediately head towards the ocean once they hatch. They have no instinct to go back the way they came, so they always head in the right direction. Even though these little guys are super cute, they're pretty vulnerable to being picked off by predators. But with so many babies in one nesting area, there's a good chance that at least some of them will make it to the water safely. Once they're in the water, they're on their own. Fish eggs are laid in masses, which makes it easier for the adults to release their eggs into the water without having to carry them or guard them. There are lots of predators in the ocean who eat fish eggs, so the fish have to make lots of eggs in order to make sure that some of them survive. Same thing with rabbits. Their litters are pretty vulnerable. If a predator finds the rabbit's burrow, they could eat all of the baby rabbits. So by having so many babies, the parents are making sure that at least a few of them will survive. These animals might not spend much time dancing or incubating their eggs, but they do have interesting ways of making sure that their babies are born ready to survive. All these animals have different ways of making sure that their babies are cared for, whether that means dancing for your partner, laying tons of eggs, or giving birth to more fry. All these animals are doing what they can to make sure that their babies have the best chance of surviving to adulthood. But humans can play a role in helping animals raise their young too. If you want to learn more about how you can help seahorses, penguins, or any of the animals we talked about today, visit our website. We'll have links to resources where you can help protect seahorses in their natural habitats, support groups working to save endangered penguins, or even help us make more videos like these. Thanks for watching.